Well, Mark Robinson, sharing the goals around is something that perhaps we haven't been able to do too much in the past. We're certainly doing that now. We're coming up with a lot of goals. I guess that's a real objective now, to keep that going throughout the season.
Yeah, it's always been the plan, Rob. You know, when we lost Joe, I stated that, you know, we're going to have to share the goals around, because you're not going to sign a 20-goal season forward. You want to sign, and hopefully one will emerge. You know, maybe Ollie will emerge to be that person, or Aaron will emerge. But in terms of signing a player with that track record, it was never going to happen. So the plan was that we needed to get goals from everywhere, and that's starting to happen now. So, you know, I was a little bit disappointed we couldn't bring in someone in the window, but it is what it is. And I think sometimes when you have focus, you know what you're working with, and it gives you complete focus. And that's what we've been doing, is working on the lads and how we can make everyone more effective. So long may it continue.
Absolutely. Great news, of course, this week concerning Nick Zunhead, and he's really coming along. But I suppose for yourself, as of course, on the training pitch as a coach, I mean, defending, we still want to sort of cut out the little errors, the little mistakes still, yeah?
Yeah, there's areas that we need to get better at, and there's areas perhaps that you have to accept things might happen, you know. So the as I said to you the other day, you can't celebrate great goals where we play out and then chastise people where it hasn't worked. That doesn't mean you don't want it to not happen, but no one keeps stats on every time you smash the ball forward and lose it and it comes back 10 seconds later and you concede. But they will obviously look at things when you've tried to play out and you've lost the ball and it relates in a goal, because it looks so bad. So we need to cut it out, but not cut it out in terms of we stop doing it. It's more about looking when we need to do it, you know. So if you look at the goal we conceded the other day, it's because we got it wrong in terms of where the overloads were. We actually didn't have an overload in our favour, and we've tried to play out, and that was an example where we needed to go longer, not smash it, but go longer, because our overload was further forward. And it's getting the players to recognise that, you know, through analysis, etc. So I can't say that's never going to happen again, because that's work in progress. That happens in terms of having a style of play. But there are other areas where we've conceded that we need to be a bit better at, which we're looking at and working on all the time.
Good to hear. During the international break, of course, we've had a lot of attention upon us from international, national journalism as well, coming down,
Yeah.
seeing what we're doing here. I mean, not just the players, the coaching staff too. How do you feel we've been coping with that?
Yeah, good. It's exciting that, you know, you're getting that sort of feeling around the club, and it's really important that we keep our feet on the ground and not get carried away by it all. But at the same time, you know, embrace the fact that people are writing about us and interested about us and in what we're doing. So, you know, you've got to enjoy it, but to make sure that everyone doesn't get above themselves, and we keep working even harder to get where we want to get to. But it's certainly not a distraction. It's a positive.
There's that phrase I've heard from Darius Charles as well, you know, never too high, never too low, yeah?
Yeah, and you know, I was reading something about processes, and it is, and that's why you have to have a process, because you need to stick with it, because, you know, you can't get carried away by stuff. You are where you are at the time. You just need to keep working hard to keep improving things. But you'd much rather have a positive vibe from outside than a negative vibe, so it's all good.
Turning to Saturday's opponents, Morecambe, I mean, they beat Sheffield Wednesday
Yeah.
in their last game. It's never easy coming up into the league, having got in through the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
But they've adapted pretty quickly, and they're managing to stabilise in mid-table at least.
Yeah, no, they're doing really, really well. They've done great, really, really hard working, but also, you know, do some things on the ball that can be a real threat. You know, they've got some good players, and they've got some good movement, particularly when they get into the final third. So we've got to be aware of that. But fundamentally as well, they are really hard working. Which so we know we've got our work cut out, but another game we're looking forward to.
Good, and as I said, I mean, we've been under the spotlight as well. I mean, this perhaps isn't one of the more high-profile games this weekend, but it's certainly going to be a test for us.
Yeah, I think they're all high-profile games, you know, and again, that's something you've got to change. You know, you've got to go into the game with every mindset. So, you know, the results are picking up and the performances have been good. So every game's high-profile. You know, I don't think you need to look at the badge on the shirt. You just need to look at the game and what it means to the club. So, for me, it's a massively high-profile game.
One of the areas of the job that obviously no manager is happy to have to do is when it comes to sort of releasing players. Obviously, there's a couple of good players that we know that were here previously last season. I mean,
Yeah.
Shane McLaughlin is doing well up there now. Shane Harrison's gone there as well.
Yeah.
It's never an easy part of the job, is it though?
No, it's the most difficult part, and it was really difficult with Shane because we were close, and Shane was a good player, but there was obviously various reasons why we didn't renew the contract. So, but it's always great to see players doing well. So I'm absolutely chuffed for him that he's doing great, and the same with Shane. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see Shane, but a really great lad, and again I'm just really pleased that they both found clubs and doing well.
Focusing on us, is Dan Choker back with the group from international duty?
Yeah, Dan's back now, so he's training, but unopposed today because we just got. It's nothing too bad with his shoulder, but you just got to see. So we've got to just bring him in slowly. So he's back with the group and training, but he can't do anything contact right now. But he should be back. I should imagine next week go back to contact. Still the same with poor Sue, but he should be back involved very shortly. Will's broke his nose, I believe, so I believe he broke his nose during the game, but carried on. That's Will.
Just a centre back for you.
Yeah. So and got his goal as well. So yeah, but it won't be a problem. I think they're sorting out a mask for him, etc. So it won't be a problem.
Just looking at some of the loan players, although it's been a good week, particularly for your strikers as well. You must be really
Yeah.
pleased with the likes of what they're getting up to at the moment.
And that's part of the sort of structure. It's very easy to forget about, when the first team are doing well, but what's really nice, we've got that bubbling under as well. You've got these young players out on loan, all performing. So as you said, Corey and Aaron did really well, scoring goals. Dav scored goals. And then, the feedback we're getting that all the lads are really performing well. We've got young Alfie out now as well at Corinthian, and him and Elliot apparently had a great game the other night and a really tough game against Worthing in the FA Cup. So they're all doing well, and it bodes well for the future. So you've got that next crop, fingers crossed, coming through.
And that's nice as well. I mean, another one of your old under-18 strikers, you mentioned Corinthian casuals there, Bobby Mills was coming up with helping them as well there.
Yeah, so it's great because these lads go on loan obviously, and then they come up against lads that used to be at the club, which is really nice, so that and they make them feel welcome because they're all, once you're a Wimbledon lad, you're a Wimbledon lad, so no, it's good.
Brilliant, thanks very much, Robbo.
Cheers.